and welcome. So stanza 1 continues. As I said in the previous video, it's a long stanza and we're going to take time exploring it. These are some of the most fundamental concepts and you have to get them pit pat before we move on. Darkness alone filled the boundless soul. For father, mother and son were once more one, and the son had not awakened yet for the new veil, and his pilgrimage thereon. Darkness is father, mother, light their son, says an old Eastern proverb. Light is inconceivable except as coming from some source which is the cause of it. And as in the instance of primordial light, that source is unknown. Though it's strongly demanded by reason and logic, therefore it is called darkness by us. Dark matter, dark energy, a lot of this ties into this. From an intellectual point of view, as to borrowed of secondary light, whatever its source, it can be but of a temporary myopic nature. Darkness then is the eternal matrix in which the sources of light appear and disappear. That's why Kali is black, Kali is dark. Okay? Nothing is added to darkness to make of it light, or to light to make it darkness on this our plane. They are interchangeable, and scientifically light is but a mode of darkness and vice versa. Yet both are phenomena of the same noumena, which is absolute darkness to the scientific mind, but a great twilight to the perception of the average mystic, though to that of the spiritual eye of the initiate, it is absolute light. How far we discern the light that shines in darkness depends upon the bars of vision. What is light to us is darkness to certain insects. And the eye of the clairvoyant sees illumination when the normal eye perceives only blackness. So as I said, we see less than 1% of this electromagnetic spectrum. We don't see everything that is out there. The human perception is so limited. Cats see infrared. We don't even see infrared. Okay, so there are many things that we don't see. Colors we don't see. Beings we can't perceive because we just don't know they exist because it's not within our range. The human eyesight, it has its range. It sees so much of the spectrum that's available, and it sees nothing. So when the whole universe was plunged in sleep, had returned to its one primordial clement, there was neither center of luminosity nor eye to perceive light, and darkness necessarily filled the boundless all. So understand something, darkness is not inherently evil. If you see something dark or if you see blackness, it is not evil. Darkness is the womb of everything. When you were in your mother's womb, it was dark because that is from where we are born, from where light is born, in the primordial darkness. The father, mother are the male-female principles in root nature. The opposite poles that manifest in all things on every plane of cosmos, or spirit and substance in a less allegorical aspect, the resultant of which is the universe or the sun. They are once more one when in the night of Brahma during Pralaya, all in the objective universe has returned to its one primal and eternal cause, to reappear at the following dawn as it does periodically. Karana, eternal cause, was alone. To put it more plainly, Karana is alone during the nights of Brahma. The previous objective universe has dissolved into its one primal and eternal cause, and is, so to say, held in solution in space, to differentiate again and crystallize out anew as the following Manvantaric dawn, at the following Manvantaric dawn, which is the commencement of a new day or new activity of Brahma, the symbol of the universe. In esoteric parlance, Brahma is father, mother, son, or spirit, soul, and body at once, each personage being symbolical of an attribute, and each attribute or quality being a graduated efflux of divine breath in its cyclic differentiation, involutionary and evolutionary. In its cosmico-physical sense, it is the universe, the planetary chain, and the earth. In the purely spiritual, the unknown deity, planetary spirit, and man. The son of the two, the creature of spirit and matter, and a manifestation of them in his periodical appearances on earth during the wheels or the Manvantara. So the wheel is a very important symbol to understand in humanity's history. It was supposedly discovered in Mesopotamia, but I'm sure cultures all around the world, even more in ancient cultures, we've all used the wheel. And the wheel also denotes one Manvantaric cycle, which is a day and night of Brahma, which is a day of Brahma. Okay. Now, we are still going to continue with stanza 1 because it is a lot more of stanza 1. Yes, there is. Okay. Let's hope we can finish off with stanza 1 today. The 7 sublime lords and the 7 truths had ceased to be, and the universe, the sun of necessity, was immersed in Parinirvana, absolute perfection, Parinirvana, which is Yong-Grup, to be outbreathed by that which is and yet is not was. Okay. The 7 sublime lords are the 7 creative spirits, the Dhyani Chauhans, who correspond to the Hebrew Elohim. It is the same hierarchy of archangels to which Saint Michael, Saint Gabriel, and others belong in the Christian theogony. Only while Saint Michael, for instance, is allowed in dogmatic Latin theogony to watch over all promontories and cults in the esoteric system, the Dhyanis watch successively over one of the rounds and the great root races of our planetary chain. They are the Dhyani. They are, moreover, said to send their bodhisattvas, the human correspondents of the Dhyani Buddhas, during every round and race. Out of the 7 truths and revelations, or rather revealed secrets, 4 only have been handed down to us. As we are still in the 4th round, and the world also has only had 4 Buddhas so far. This is a very complicated question and will receive more treatment later on. So far there are only 4 truths and 4 Vedas, say the Hindus and the Buddhists. For a similar reason, Irenaeus insisted on the necessity of 4 Gospels, but as every new root race at the head of a round must have its revelation and revealers, the next round will bring the 5th, and following the 6th, and so on. Paranishpanna is the absolute perfection to which all existences attain at the close of a great period of activity, or Mahamanvantara, and in which they rest during the successive period of repose. In Tibetan, it is called Yong-Grup. Up to the day of the Yogacara school, the true nature of Parinirvana was taught publicly. But since then, it has become entirely esoteric, hence so many contradictory interpretations of it. It is only a true idealist who can understand it. Everything has to be viewed as ideal with the exception of Parinirvana by him who would comprehend that state and acquire a knowledge of how non-ego, voidness and darkness are three in one and alone self-existent and perfect. Non-ego, voidness and darkness. It is absolute, however, only in a relative sense, for it must be given room to still further absolute perfection according to a higher standard of excellence in the following period of activity. Just as perfect flower must cease to be a perfect flower and die in order to grow into a perfect fruit, the somewhat Irish mode of expression may be permitted. So HPB is also very funny and has a lot of wit while she writes. So here, that was a bit. So a perfect flower must die. Everything must die, right? For something new to appear. And I mean, that is we human beings, we just cling on to things, don't we? We are so afraid of change that we do anything to cling on to our false ideas and notions, our ego constructs. Because what are we really afraid of? We are afraid of change. The secret doctrine teaches the progressive development of everything, worlds as well as atoms. And this stupendous development has neither conceivable beginning nor imaginable end. Our universe is only one of an infinite number of universes, all of them sons of necessity. Because links in the great cosmic chain of universes, each one standing in the relation of an effect as regards its predecessor and being a cause as regard to its successor. So this is also very correct in the draw to universe theory, that there are every single time we make a decision, we create an alternate reality. Universes that break away from parent universes and keep on expanding and keep on creating. They're called daughter universes. So this is the same thing, that we have multiple universes. Blavatsky says this in the 19th century, and everybody thought she was crazy. But here she says it so clearly, and we must read this again to truly comprehend the beauty of this. Our universe is only one of an infinite number of universes, all of them sons of necessity. So every universe has been generated by karma. I think this is definitely what it means. No universe just comes into being by itself without any karma involved. Because everything is, after all, karma exchange, if you ask me. So they are all sons of necessity, all the infinite multiverses. The appearance and disappearance of the universe are pictured as an outbreathing and inbreathing of the great breath, which is eternal and which, being motion, is one of the three aspects of the absolute, abstract space, and duration being the other two. When the great breath is projected, it is called the divine breath and is regarded as the breathing of the unknowable deity, the one existence which breathes out a thought, as it were, which becomes the cosmos. So also it is when the divine breath is inspired again, the universe disappears into the bosom of the Great Mother, who then sleeps wrapped in invisible robes. By that which is and yet is not is meant the great breath itself, which we can only speak of as absolute existence, but cannot picture to our imagination as any form of existence that we can distinguish from non-existence. So we are really tied to divinity with our breath. The universe is nothing but an out-breathing of that cosmic great breath from that divine essence, the noumena of all phenomena. The great breath is absolute existence, but cannot picture to our imagination as any form. So it's this great breath is not something we can distinguish. Is it alive? Is it dead? Because it is alive and dead in one go. It is existence as well as non-existence. Okay, that is the essence of this great breath. It is everything. The three periods, the present, the past, and the future, are in the esoteric philosophy a compound time. For the three are a composite number only in relation to the phenomenal plane, but in the realm of noumena have no abstract validity. As said in the scriptures, the past time is the present time, is also the future, which though it has not come into existence, still is, according to a precept in the Prasangya Madhyamika teaching, whose dogmas have been known ever since it broke away from the purely esoteric schools. Our ideas in short and duration and time are all derived from our sensation according to the laws of association. Inextricably bound up with the relativity of human knowledge, they nevertheless can have no existence except in the experience of the individual ego, and perish when its evolutionary march dispels the maya of phenomenal existence. What is time, for instance, but the panoramic succession of our states of consciousness? In the words of a master, I feel even irritated having to use these three clumsy words, past, present, and future. Miserable concepts of the objective phases of the subjective whole. They are about as ill adapted for the purpose as an axe for fine carving. One has to acquire paramartha, lest one should become too easy a prey to samvriti. It's a philosophical axiom. So this was this part when the master says that, how can I talk about time just as past, present, future? It just doesn't make sense. It's not enough. It's too clumsy. It's not sophisticated enough. Though that quote was from the Mahatma letters to AP Senate, and very interesting storybook. Check it out. But join me for the next video. We are still going on with stanza 1. So stay with me.